And there's a look at the beast I have rented to take me around during the holidays. Hey folks, it is Sunday, December 24th, so Merry Christmas. The time is 3:17 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 4 degrees Celsius. I'm here on Yonge Street in midtown Toronto, and there's a look to the south. And for this one, I'll be hopping into the 300 here and going for a spin. I think we'll head south down Yonge Street, maybe to Front and over to Spadina, and then up through Chinatown, and then I'll head east along Bloor Street. I need to make my way over to a Sobeys in that area. That's a grocery store. And you'll notice there's no front license plate on this car, as it is registered to the province of Quebec, or in the province of Quebec. And I apologize if the camera mount isn't the best and if there's some reflections. Normally I can mount the camera right below the rear view mirror here, but this car doesn't leave me a lot of room, and when I mount it low, there's a very strong reflection from the interior dash. So hopefully this works. Let me switch over the camera now. I'll do that by pressing record on my phone. There we go. Actually, let me make sure that's in 4K 60 here. All right, that seems to be correct. Sometimes the settings get switched around. Engine fired up. Just back up a little bit. And away we go. The car behind me just started pulling out at the same time. And this is south down Yonge Street in Midtown. And I probably don't want to be in this lane on the right, as there's some on-street parking just up ahead. And this here is Montgomery Avenue. I guess there's a fair bit of last-minute Christmas shopping going on right now. I live just around the corner from here. And I rented this car from the 23rd to the 27th. It was supposed to be a Mercedes or similar, but the people before me took the last one of those, so they gave me this 300, and they also gave me a $20 discount per day. They wanted me to take a drop-top Mustang, which I thought was a bit of an odd choice for the winter, so I opted for this one. It's all-wheel drive, it's got winter tires on it. And look at this, the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton is pretty much open for business here. I've got that left lane blocked. But it's almost business as usual for pedestrians. It's been years and years since it's last been like this. And that's Eglinton Station, just on the right. I have no idea what to expect in terms of traffic. I went to Square One in Mississauga yesterday and ended up actually taking Burnhamthorpe most of the way from Dundas Street West. So I need to pick something up from Sobeys, and then I'm going to head out west. And tomorrow I'll be driving up to Niagara Falls in the morning. I'm thinking about live streaming that one. It's interesting, it gives me my speed in miles per hour. I'm going 29 right now. The dials are in kilometers per hour, but the digital display is in miles per hour. This is Chaplin, Davisville subway station just on the right. And the Midtown bike lanes make an appearance. And they run from Davisville there all the way down to just south of Bloor Street. A lot of locals complained about these bike lanes, but really it's been found to add less than 1 to 2 minutes per trip on Yonge Street. And the next major intersection coming up will be Yonge and St. Clair. And if you can't tell, we are not going to have a white Christmas this year. There's no snow in the forecast for today or tomorrow. This is Yonge and St. Clair coming up. So that'll be the third subway station I've passed. Someone with a North Dakota license plate. Hopefully it's not slow like this all the way down. This is Rosehill Avenue. And we are in Summerhill. Summerhill subway station is just on the left. That old train station on the left, which is now home to the Summerhill LCBO, is going to be a very popular spot throughout these holidays. It's kind of the flagship liquor store, probably in the entire city. I can't think of a more impressive one. And they'll certainly be slammed in the days leading up to New Year's. It's generally a good idea to do all your liquor shopping well in advance. This is Roxborough Street West coming up. And Rosedale Station on the left. I'm always curious if the person behind me follows me through a yellow like that and the person stopped. One thing about this car is it is a bit of a boat. Certainly wouldn't be my preference to own for city driving. It feels wider than most cars, and it's definitely longer. Had to parallel park it on the street a few times, and it's kind of annoying. I guess you get used to it though. The more you drive a car, the more comfortable you get with its dimensions. I definitely kind of had to tiptoe my way through the corners in the parking garage at the Enterprise when I was taking it out right after renting it. There were a lot of really tight turns. I think the Mercedes was an A220, which would have been much smaller. But I will say this thing is fantastic on the highway. I took it on the highway coming back from Mississauga last night. If it weren't such a gas guzzler, it would probably be an excellent road trip vehicle. And we are almost downtown. This is Bloor Street and the intersection of Yonge and Bloor. And Bloor Yonge Station is here. Cutting through the north end of the Yorkville neighborhood. And into downtown we go. And sadly, the bike lanes disappear at this point. The next major intersection is Wellesley. That's where we'll find Wellesley subway station. I think the drive time going down Yonge is comparable to taking the subway. I'd much rather be on a subway train making this trip. Or at least be a passenger in a self-driving car. Most places seem to be open. Tomorrow is when most of the retail stores will be closed. There'll still be some restaurants and that sort of thing open. I think much of Chinatown will still be open. I've got a car turning left and the right lane disappearing. And cyclists on the right. I don't really want to squeeze by. Oh. There we go. And this is Carlton Street on the left, College Street on the right, and this is where College Station is. According to my display, it is 5 degrees out. My phone told me it was 4. It's an interesting left turn that Honda just made. It says no left turns 7 a.m. to 6:30, Monday to Saturday, today being a Sunday. It was all good. And this construction is due to adding an elevator to the southbound platform. And then once that's in, they're going to get to do it all over again to the eastbound platform. So that stretch will be under construction for a very long time. I should have gotten to the right lane. This car in front of me is turning left. Squeeze around. Not supposed to go within a meter of a cyclist, and with good reason. So coming up in a few blocks is Yonge and Dundas. I think the Eaton Center might make for an interesting video today, but I'll probably go record there on Boxing Day. I already did a couple of malls recently, Square One yesterday and Yorkville last week, or rather Yorkdale. No, you don't. Don't leave me hanging in the intersection, Jeep. All right, I'm through. The tail of my car is clear of the crossing, fortunately. Where's that license plate from? Ohio. Oh, we're good. And this is Queen. Closed off on both sides due to subway construction. So on the right-hand side is the financial district, which I imagine would be rather quiet over the holidays. On the left, the St. Lawrence neighborhood. I think I said I was going to turn right on Front Street and loop up on Spadina. This is taking me a little longer than I anticipated, but it's not so bad. Someone just casually strolling down the middle of the street there. Alright, this is King Street. And you'll find King subway station right there. Wellington, and after Wellington it will be Front Street. There's people coming out of the Hotel Victoria. That, over the pandemic, was used as a city shelter. So it seems to be back up and running as a hotel again. All right, hopefully there's no forbidden right turns on the front. Nope, they're allowed. Get away from this on-street parking. There's Union Station on the left and the CN Tower behind it. This is Bay Street. There's always a ton of pedestrians in this area. And this is west on Front Street. The Royal York Hotel on the right. I'm surprised we haven't heard more honking on this one. There's a BMW caught in the intersection there, getting honked at. It's a very common occurrence in this particular intersection. Well, a lot of them around the financial district, but that one almost always seems to have drivers hung up in the middle. So I'll be making a right up ahead at Spadina. This should be Yonge Street here. The Sky Dome is just in on the left, as is the entrance to the CN Tower. This is Blue Jays Way, although north of King becomes Peter Street. And I'll be moving over right and then making a right and heading north up Spadina through Chinatown. There's some mounted police. I'm always surprised at major intersections like this when rights on reds are allowed. This guy running just cost me a right turn opportunity. No big deal. I've done that to drivers 1,000 times. And we are heading north up Spadina on the west side of downtown. I think there's some street parking just up ahead, so we want to be in this lane. It is so much nicer to be walking around the streets than driving. And Spadina is served by the 510 Spadina streetcar, which has its own dedicated right-of-way tracks. You can see those in the center. It's one of the better streetcar routes in the city. This is Richmond Street, Queen Street coming up next. And just north of here, we'll be in Chinatown. Bloor Street closed January 3rd through 5th. Good to know. This is one of two Chinatowns in the city of Toronto, and last night I was in, I guess what you could call Mississauga's Chinatown. They've got a large plaza there. And I went to a restaurant I hadn't been to in forever called Best Friend. There's always vehicles just blocking the right lane in Chinatown. College Street coming up, and things should move pretty quickly. Heading north up to Bloor. It's the Daniels Building straight ahead, serving as the University of Toronto School of Architecture. And we're at Harvard Street. And this is right around where I recorded the Santa Claus parade from. If I do it again next year, I think I'll come back to this spot again. It worked out. I had a perfect vantage point. It wasn't crowded at all. Although next year it probably won't be rerouted down this part of Spadina. It wasn't on Bloor Street coming up due to bike lane construction, which we'll be driving through in a moment. We are at Bloor. This is in the Annex neighborhood. The A-pillars on this car are huge. Visibility is not the best. But this is east on Bloor Street West. See, they've mostly got the new bike lanes finished. Just pulling up the map here, I'm just curious. I'm pretty sure I can turn left onto Broadview. Well, the built-in map doesn't tell me that's allowed or not. On the right, the Bata Shoe Museum, and just in on the left, St. George subway station. This is nice how little traffic there is on Bloor Street. I think those traffic lights there are temporary. And we're about to enter the Yorkville neighborhood. I hope that Sobeys I'm going to has a restroom. So this stretch of Bloor Street has a lot of very high-end retailers. And careless pedestrians. And we're at Bay Street. Taking some of the steel drum musical stylings. Holt Renfrew on the left, a large luxury Canadian department store. And for the second time this drive, we are at Yonge and Bloor. It is 4:08. You can see it's starting to get a bit darker. In an hour, it'll be much darker. Couldn't figure out where that bell ringing was coming from. This is Sherburne Street coming up. Get into the left lane. I'm going to be turning left at Broadview. Castle Frank subway station on the left. And it is onto the Bloor Viaduct. Leaving downtown. Off in the distance is Greektown, but I won't be getting that far. I'm going to make a left at Broadview and go pick up a pie from this grocery store, Sobeys. When you don't cook, you have to contribute however you can. Let's see if we'll get through in this light cycle. I'm gonna guess no. There's 10 seconds left. I could have been a dick and forced my way through. And no, you're not hearing things. The indicators on this thing are loud. Is that person pushing their own wheelchair? Guess it's none of my business. Hard not to wonder things like that though when you see them. Broadview Station is just over here on the left. Hopefully we get an advanced green. All right. So this is north up Broadview Avenue, where our journey shall end in a few moments. The Sobeys should be just north of Mortimer, which means I'll be in the borough of East York, former borough of East York. This is Mortimer, and Sobeys is just here on the right. gonna go for the low effort parking spot. Done. Where's my other camera at? Where'd I put it? Oh, there it is. There we go, stop that one. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this rather pointless Christmas Eve drive. I hope you had an excellent Christmas. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. And I need to run in there, and hopefully there's a little boys room. If not, there's a Dairy Queen right across the street. But again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, etc., etc. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.